Welcome back to Gentle Giants. Doug Hansen grew up here on the South Dakota Plains, and one might say he was born a century too late. He identifies with the pioneer spirit and the traditions of the West, which gives him a great understanding of the workings of these traditional wagons.
I grew up here on the ranch here in South Dakota, and we had the wood shop, the metal shop, the leather shop, and so I kind of grew up with these trades around me. My mother is still alive, and she still actively runs her saddle shop. This is a hobby that got out of control. I had a fascination with the lost art, the craftsmen of old. We love the authenticity of it. We love to do it like it was done, and that comes from my fascination with that old world craftsmanship. Everything happens here from start to finish. We are isolated. You know, we're a wagon shop out in a cow pasture on the bluffs overlooking the James River out in rural South Dakota. We are not in an industrial region. We've been forced to become self-sufficient. So we have our own wheelwright, we have our own blacksmith, there isn't anything that we can't make in the shop that's pertaining to a horse-drawn vehicle. Our wheelwright is using a lot of antique tools because they're not produced today, and if they are produced, they're not of the quality that we could find when it was a leading industry. We're a modern shop, but many of our pieces of equipment are antique. You know, like in the leather shop here, we have sewing machines from the turn of the century. The shop does about 50% restoration and about 50% of replications. In a restoration process, the first thing that we do is we spend quite a bit of time just soaking up the aura of the vehicle. It speaks to you. If you're around it long enough, it just starts talking to you. Some of the most unique restoration projects that we've done probably would be in the stagecoach world, because that's such an iconic vehicle of the American West. And that's also some of the earliest vehicles that we worked on. We have actually done restoration on vehicles from the late 1840s. So that's quite old. This was from an era of extreme fine craftsmanship and such. So that's probably the most intriguing restorations that we've done. That's barely going to get you there. Hold it. Oh, you can't. That's fine. Right there to right there, but we need to get this much in the nut too. Reassess that before you cut it. The process of construction, whether it's restoration or a replica, kind of flows through the shop much like a shop would have been set up back in the 1840s. And our shop is set up kind of to flow through the different stations. So the first thing that happens is the wheelwright area, so that we get a set of wheels built for the coach or the wagon, and then it rolls to the wainwright, who is going to construct the undercarriage and such. And then to the coach maker that's going to do all the body work. Once the woodwork is constructed, it goes to the blacksmith, and now the blacksmith's job is to fit the wood with iron. Once that has happened, then the laborious task of preparing the wood and metal to be flawless and to be painted to a high gloss show car type finish. And then it's on here to the finish shop. So in this shop, we're going to be doing the upholstery work and the striping. And the striping and the lettering is the ornamentation that vehicle wears, and that's what everybody is fascinated with. We do quite a few vehicles through the year because, you know, part of them are restorations, part of them are conservation work where we are conserving a vehicle, and part of them are replications. And then, of course, there's the repairs and maintenance on vehicles and such. So we could be doing somewhere rolling in the neighborhood of 100 wagons through the shop a year. We have in the shop right now a replica that we're building of a stagecoach for a museum, of a very rare type of stagecoach that's not obtainable. So we have the museum market. Obviously, we have the draft horse industry of the show wagons. The draft horse breeders are out showing their wagons. Budweiser, Wells Fargo, even the express ranches or some that advertises outside of the breeding of horses are utilizing horses and horse-drawn vehicles to capture a nostalgia and an era of wholesomeness and or purity and our heritage. You know, our heritage is very important. You know, whether you're a historian or not, our heritage is who we are. That identifies it. We specialize in heavy Western vehicles. So those extra heavy wagons that Budweiser is using, they're, you know, fit for an 8-horse hitch. They do not work with a pair. They do not work, you know, even with a 6 hardly. So the Budweiser, the wagons are extremely heavy, and those 8 Clydesdales are needed to pull them in a soft arena. Well, we are not a production shop. We do not have a die stamp that we just turn these wagons out and put a set of wheels on them and they're gone. They are all custom built. Some of the hitch wagons that you've probably seen on Gentle Giants would be the Express Ranch, the Jackson Fork, Double S Clydes, Bovards, the Messengers, McLaughlins, and Hunters, and then of all of Budweiser's wagons, whether you've seen them in a brewery or you've seen them at a show or on Gentle Giants, we've restored all of the Budweiser Clydesdale wagons, which are all original wagons. It's quite a privilege to do. The faster life gets, the more need there is to slow down. And the horses and the wagons help us to do that. And you know, this is a tradition that's just not only 100 years old, this is a tradition that's thousands of years old, working with horses. And it's something that just isn't gonna die.
When Gentle Giants returns, we'll see some of those fancy wagons in the show ring. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Gentle Giants. A beautiful wagon adds to the presentation of a team 4, 6, or even 8-horse hitch. And Doug Hansen is proud to have built or restored some of the most beautiful wagons in North America.
We go through a process of design presentations, get approval of the client, and then as we did like with the Jackson Fork Ranch, go through a lot of color samples. What looks good on a color chip may not look good in the whole, so we have to go through quite a process just to approve colors. As we know, the colors are what really identify that hitch. Probably the vehicle that we are the proudest of that we've created would have to be the Jackson Fork hitch wagon. And you know, it has a nice balance to it. Hitches like to have a lightweight wagon, but they want to have it big enough to do the 6 and the 8 down to the pair. And that wagon, the color of it is just, you know, kind of out of this world. It's a tricolor show car type finish. I would say that that's probably the most unique and standout-ish of the hitch wagons that we have done because of that color. Talking about special vehicles, you know, when we started working with Express Ranches, it's probably our flagship hitch wagon that's been more miles, been to more shows, been to more exhibitions than any vehicle that I think we've ever produced. Because the Express Ranch hitch wagon is not only a show vehicle that travels around and does the shows, it's been used in many, many exhibitions. The Express Ranch hitch wagon is a testimony of the durability and the styling of that traditional construction. The other vehicle that we did for Express Ranches is their big 24-passenger stagecoach. Express Ranches had the opportunity to take Prince William and Princess Cake into Calgary Stampede, and that was quite a privilege to see that on a coach that we had produced here in the shop. Kurt Messenger's wagon is an all-natural wagon, and you don't see that very often, but it's all walnut wood. You know, everybody loves the beauty of wood. Well, that particular wagon, having the walnut, has a rich glow to it, and it looks good inside the showroom, but it really glows in an outdoor arena because you get natural light on it, and it really stands out in an outdoor setting. So our staff here is very dedicated. They love the work they do, and they love the ability to create. And you know, from the wheelwright to the pinstriper, everybody loves the creations that we are able to have a part in working on. You spend sometimes 6 months to a year on a project, and all these little details that you sweat. But when you put it all together and you roll it out the door and you stand back and look at it, you know, it's quite a satisfying sight to stand back and see what you've created over that long period of time. There are a lot of technical aspects that we discover, but we are also cognizant of because we drive horses. You know, you can have appreciation for a horse-drawn vehicle and go in the shop and build a horse-drawn vehicle, but until you put horses on that and take it out across the prairie, we've gone on reenactments, you know, driven hundreds of miles, driving vehicles and studying them and reliving the life of traveling via horse-drawn vehicles. And that's really helped us to understand and to build a better vehicle. I'm very passionate about this. We're all very passionate about what we do. What we have done is in a lifetime of involvement in this, studying the authenticities of these horse-drawn vehicles, is we have kept history alive.
We want to thank all of you for watching Gentle Giants this week. I know Pam and I had a great time up here in South Dakota.
We want to thank Doug Hansen, his family, and everyone at Hansen Wheel and Wagon for showing us all those intricate details. And then the folks at McCross and Boys Ranch, what a great job they're doing, changing lives one at a time.
You are right, Pam. We want to thank all of you again, and in the meantime, you can always check us out on Facebook.
Bye now.